Hello and good day. In this section, we will be learning about frequency tables, graphs, and distributions. Now, let's assume that you are teaching statistics and you have about 25 students whom you have given a short quiz about what you have discussed so far in your statistics class. Now, the data set that you are seeing is the scores that your students have, and they don't pretty much mean anything for now. They are just raw scores. But you can also see that there are a lot of 6 and 8s and not a lot of 10s or scores below 4. But this is not actually the best way to get a sense of how the class has performed. Now, a very simple and logical step in making it easier to understand the scores is to put them in order. Now, a string of scores arranged in numerical order, customarily starting with the highest value, is often called an array. So this is just basically the scores that we actually are seeing earlier, but this time they are now arranged from the highest value up until the last, which is the lowest value from the scores that you have with your student's exam. Now, a more informative way to display these data is in a simple frequency distribution. As you can see on the table, it consists of two columns, and the first column lists all the possible scores, beginning with the highest score in the array and going down to the lowest possible score there is. And on the other hand, the second column lists the frequency of each score. That is, how many times that score is repeated in the array. On the table, you are also seeing a column labeled X. That basically pertains to the raw scores of your students. And the F stands for the frequency of that score. As you may notice, 3 as a score is included in the table even though it has a frequency of 0, because the rule is to list all of the possible scores from the highest to the lowest, whether a particular score actually appears in the data or not. So to check whether you have included all of the scores in the frequency distribution, add up all the frequencies and make sure that the total is equal to the number of scores in the array. So as you are seeing the formula, this is the summation, or this is also termed as the sigma. So the sigma for all the frequency is equal to the n, or the number of total scores there is. So for this array, you are seeing that the total number of scores is equal to 25. Now moving forward to another example, you have supposed to be assessing the level of stress of your students taking up statistics. And these are the scores that you have gotten from your survey. Now looking at the data set, things may not be clear as compared with the simple frequency distribution table that you are seeing on the lower right side of the screen. As you can see in the simple distribution table, the stress rating's highest value is 10, while the lowest is 0. And at the same time, you are seeing as to how many times the scores have appeared in the dataset in the frequency column. And to utilize the formula earlier that we have, which is the sigma of the frequency is equal to n. This is the formula to make sure that the total is equal to the number of scores in the array. And if you will try to add up all the numbers that you are seeing in the frequency column, I will give you time to also add up all the numbers that you are seeing in the frequency column. Add all the numbers that you are seeing in the frequency column. And if the number or the total number that you got is 151, you are actually correct.